like my relatives, just let me in. It's all heritage, skin in the game, we American. This Bugatti slaves all arrogant, here's my evidence. Got skin in the game, just let me in. Black Americans! This not just like my relatives, just let me in. It's all heritage, skin in the game, we American. This Bugatti slaves all arrogant, here's my evidence. Got skin in the game, just let me in. Black Americans! Keep it simple, IDK, I'm just blowing smoke. Stupid bird talking shit, wondered why you choke. Dicks on the brain, stay out of my way, your past revoke. Usher 80s, 97, we not shit like that my way. You hoes could truly never drink coquito the whole December. Put a Karen logo, not today Karen, on my ugly sweater. All I want for New Year's is to clear my sector. Alien superstar, apply the pressure, it's like architecture. This I'm just like my relatives, just let me in. It's all heritage, skin in the game, we Americans. This Bugatti slaves all arrogant, here's my evidence. Got skin in the game, just let me in. Black Americans! This I'm just like my relatives, just let me in. It's all heritage, skin in the game, we American. This Bugatti slaves all arrogant, here's my evidence. Got skin in the game, just let me in. Black Americans. Something to go for, these are glorious days. Something to kill for, this that notorious way. Black on black everything, lifted every voice and made it sing. Brooklyn's up to bat, lucky 42, I'll take a swing. Just on my ring, feels like a king. We out in Episville, still got massive pill, we in the Lions pit. Let me call Jay up and close the deal. Forever urban, you can put that on my seal. Broke down all color barriers, I drink where I want when I sit where I feel.
Welcome to the Tea Show, you guys. We're back on the Lion Pit Network. For those of you tuned in today, you can get a discount on Funny Lifestyle. That's the sweater I'm wearing now. Shout out to Funny Lifestyle for putting us together with all this stuff. I'm here with the beautiful Beth. But yeah, the discount for you guys today is Tea Show. So it's TEESHOW, and you get 25% off anything you guys want to shop. That's if you tuned in today. The code will last for the rest of the week. So lucky for you. That's my first plug. Welcome to the Tea Show, you guys. I have Beth here. She's been, well, I'm going to let her actually introduce herself. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's just a pleasure to be here with you today. It's a beautiful Easter Sunday morning. I am here. I currently have based in Chicago. Currently an analyst for a huge corporation, and what on the side, the Mr. and I, we have a wonderful blossoming catering company where we do excessive travels, and he is a world-renowned chef, and he's so humble to get himself out there a little bit more.
Humble.
Exactly. He's too humble. I'm like, I'm the talking point for, you know. Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, he's been all over the world, Australia, Ireland, China, Jamaica, Japan, cooking, and just with all of his degrees behind him. And the business is blossoming, and I'm very, very happy and very, very proud of that.
Absolutely.
Very proud of that.
Black businesses, y'all know how I feel about it.
Yes. And it's all about supporting your own.
No, yeah, for sure. I like how you started off saying, because I've been a little bit, I never knew how to say it the way you just said it, basically, like showing that I work in corporate, because that is how I fund a lot of my art stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I never wanted it to like, let's say, eclipse like my passion, which is like your catering and you being the cheerleading person and cheerleading our own brands and even helping Funny Lifestyle be up here. You know, I never wanted my other work to, but I like how you said, like, you know, now I've come to just like kind of just one hand washes the others. Like I have corporate and I'm good at that, and I'm selling a leadership book. And then I also have this other muscle that I flex, you know?
Yes.
I guess my first question would be, how did you get to say it like that? Like to just have confidence in both, like kind of walking in both lanes?
So it's interesting, that's a very interesting, great question. I actually never thought that I would be. I was so embedded in the corporate world,
Right.
and I still am, but I believe in having multiple streams of income because you're in the corporate world, but it's not your company. You don't own the company.
That's
You
how I never
don't
wanted to
have
happen. Like,
exactly.
I just work here.
Yes. Yes, exactly. I'm just here so I don't get fired, right?
Right.
So
But you are
and
integral to that company's growth. So it's like,
yes,
it's kind of like you're
yes.
shitting on your own work, right? That's how I used to feel.
Exactly. And currently my particular company that I've been with, it'll be 23 years in
Oh, wow.
June that I've been. Yeah, well, no, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But still, today or tomorrow, God forbid, Illinois is an at-will state. So, your company can come to you and say, hey, you know what, we don't need you anymore. And then what?
Like, you're done now.
And then what? Right. And then what? 23 years of blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
And then what?
Right.
But I'm so grateful to have that, and what they offer as far as benefits. But it just doesn't stop there. You want to expand your life and expand your lifestyle when you can, and my other Mr. and I, we've had the opportunity to do that. I've had the opportunity to just, someone tried my banana pudding, just for the family. And the family was like, oh my goodness, it's amazing. This, that, and the third, you should sell it. And I'm going, well, how would I get into that industry? Right. So, let me dig a little deeper and find out. And before I knew it, I, contracted with several restaurants here in the Chicago and Indiana area. And my banana pudding and peach cobblers are now in 5, going on 6 different restaurants around the area. Nice. So we have that. Yeah.
Branded as, like, what's the name of it in stores and stuff?
It's Lady Liz Delectable Desserts.
Lady Liz Delectable
Desserts.
I love that. I want to say it again. Lady Liz Delectable Desserts. I love that.
Yes.
So I love going like, oh my God, that's dope.
Thank you. I like a name flow. I love a name flow.
I like it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Tyler Bell, like Patty's pies. I'm like, people just
yeah. Oh, and do you know how they went crazy over her pies? Like, I want that for my desserts.
She was like on all those talk shows for the holidays. I'm like, girl, these folks just like saying it.
Exactly. And I was one of the crazy ones going from store to store looking for a patty pie.
Patty pie, right? I wanted to just because I'm like, look, I got a patty pie. I'm like, they're like, you don't eat this. I'm like, somebody will.
Yeah, and now you go into the store, they're all piled up. You couldn't find them before, but now it's like we've gotten our fill of the patty pies. But
delectable. What's the last one?
Lady Liz Delectable Desserts.
Delectable Dessert. There we go. There we go. Coming soon.
Yes.
And my company is trying to. Well, I run a nonprofit, so I'm trying to create something that. I mean, I was talking to a handful of friends just like over the last holiday, and I'm like, we're just talking about like things in high school, and I forgot I had a whole like grocery store in my high school. So I had this idea where I'm trying to create like a community like grocery, whereas like people donate things, and it's going to be for people who are like at risk, and they don't have money to buy it. But I think that's a cool way to get products that you're testing out into communities that number one need it. 2, somebody else that they know is going to have money to pay for it. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? And just kind of like see what we can grow and do from then. It's like watch the nonprofit, also introducing a for-profit company. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
You definitely are on that flow. Chicago, it's LA, where we have a lot of poverty, homelessness, hungry people. So it's cool for us to start, but I'm always like, okay, what about all the people that can't, so that's why I come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, that's amazing. Good for you. Kudos to you. I love that. I love that. I just love the fact of the women entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? It's we've made our mark, and we're continuing as women, as professional Black women of color, to make our mark on society. And to build that generational wealth. Absolutely. And it's so important to do that. And in the interim, we're helping others. It's not just generational, for our children, our children's children, and so forth and so on, but we're helping others. We're extending that wealth. And I think that is so vitally important in the Black community to be able to do that.
I saw it in Los Angeles. I still launched my nonprofit with my very close friend, and she just had a baby actually. So
congratulations.
And it was weird. It started again. Like, a lot of things I start was just because I heard Issa Rae. A lot of people say that, like, you just create for what you don't see. And we went out
Yes,
trying to do something for
absolutely.
Juneteenth before it was Juneteenth, right? And we're like, oh, we just want to do a
Yeah.
barbecue, like a kickback. Like, I'm new, I'm trying to meet people, I'm creative, you know, and people are like, well, what's Juneteenth? And I'm like, wait, what? Like, you know, coming from the, oop, there goes the sun. Imagine like you don't got that much control over it. We'll be fine.
Okay, good.
But yeah, you know, just coming from the East Coast, I guess, and that's
Yeah,
something that I learned. Like, you know, obviously the South, that slavery, that whole thing is much closer
yeah,
to us. On the West Coast, it's there. Obviously, they have the riots and other stuff, but it's less of that kind of consciousness for sure. You know,
yeah,
you know, like
yeah,
we made it over here. It's very much a Fresh Prince of Bel Air, like.
yeah,
So
right,
I was
right.
like, okay, so we launched a nonprofit and started just like, you know, it kind of took off from there. It was supposed to be
Oh,
a
awesome.
making money, but now we're like, no, we're just gonna aware, make people aware of Juneteenth and marches,
Hmm.
and we started going to, and then at the same time, obviously everything in the world's going George Floyd and da 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 da. So it just became
Yeah,
honestly easier to sell that what we were
yeah,
doing. But yeah, the
yeah,
attention part of it was like food for me, like you know, like getting
yeah,
I couldn't find jerk chicken, and I'm like, I want somebody to make me
yeah,
some jerk chicken. Let's do it.
exactly.
And it started from that.
Yeah, yeah,
I tell people, everyone listening right now, we're two Black women, you know, we said that we started, we go to work, whatever, but like these ideas and things just come, you know, so just live your life and you
absolutely.
always see opportunities to make money, to help yourself
Absolutely.
and to help your
Yes.
community. Because I think that that's what
Yes.
our jobs are to do, you know? Yeah.
Yes,
That was
absolutely.
me.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
I love it.
Yes.
All right, cool. I
So,
want
yeah.
to ask you some more about some of the restaurant stuff. So like I have Harold's Chicken. Is that another brand that you
Yeah. So Harold's Chicken, so that's actually one of the locations that my desserts are in.
okay.
Um, so it's actually two of the locations. And what I did was I went on a hiatus for a little bit because I wanted to completely remodel the kitchen. We
Mhm.
wanted to completely, go in and just get, new appliances, new flooring, new backsplashes on the walls, so we wanted our dessert stations and our catering stations to be so like just user friendly and great for the eye to see. If someone comes in and say, hey, let me see your kitchen. Oh my gosh, we got to sweep up, or we hate the,
Gotcha.
we need to cover the floor, you don't want any of that. You want to
You
always
want to
be
stay ready so you now have to get ready.
there. You
Got
go. That, as you said,
got
that part, that
it.
part, that
Yeah,
part, that part. And
yeah.
so that's what I did after a little bit. And then I just kind of went back um, a little bit ago, and rebuilding and rebranding is
Mhm.
what I was focused on.
Nice.
And it's been very, very successful. So I'm grateful for that.
Okay.
So yeah, so that is in Harold's Chicken, two Harold's Chicken, in the area, and
Cool.
a few jerk chicken places. You just spoke about jerk chicken, so
Yes. Turn that into bingo. And
yes,
I need
yes.
herbs, I need spice, I need curry,
Oh, oh, girl. Oh, yes, honey.
all of that.
Yes, yes, all of it. Yes.
Awesome. So a little bit more into your like personal background. So anything from your childhood experiences or environments that kind of led you to this love of food, maybe you think?
You know what? I listen. My mother, bless her heart, bless her soul, she's passed away when I was at the age of 4.
Oh no.
So yeah, but God knew, God knows what we don't,
Absolutely.
So He needed her more than we do. So with that being said,
Mhm.
I'm told countless of times how when mommy was pregnant, she would go out to eat constantly. She loved good food.
Right.
She loved good food. So when she was pregnant with me, she ate out a lot, and pregnant with
Go
my brother,
girl.
she ate. Yeah, yeah. And then, it's a funny story. They say one time your mother went to lunch and she says, oh, honey, lunch is over. I have to go home and change because I'm going out to dinner with
Uh-huh.
so and so. So it's like, oh my goodness, so I am my mother's daughter.
That part. I
I
love
I
that.
love I love
Cool.
good, a good meal. And my grandmother,
Mhm.
we call her a Medea. Medea, honey, you could not go to her house and a pot not be on the stove, a
Did you
full
grow up
pot.
in the Chicago area as well?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes, fully, yeah, born and bred and raised in Chicago. Yes, yes. And you could not go to Medea's house without a pot of food
Yeah.
being on the stove. Didn't matter what time of night you got there, you know.
Right.
It was always some food, and we just grew up around not just good food, but good cooking, good soul food, food for the soul,
For the
and
soul.
great family,
Right. Right.
and great family.
When we say
So
food
we
for the
just, yeah,
soul, as like a Black community, you know, we have a lot of everybody's listening. When we say food for the soul, we mean like that food that makes you feel homey. It makes you feel like
yes,
I've been trying to explain when people say that, you know what I mean? Because I don't, we don't understand, but I'm like, have we explained like what we mean when we say soul
Yes.
food? Because it could
Yes.
be something
Yes.
different to each culture. Like for me, it's like
Yes.
what they're gonna cook today in my house, like Easter stuff,
Yes.
like palau, or like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Mac and cheese, and we bake ours. It's very like Western.
Yes.
People know you go to a restaurant, you know what you ask for. I go to Chicago,
Exactly.
personally, I'm looking for deep dish, but I guess I'm gonna go to the Willis's houses now and get all this like good.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
there's
Yes.
that food that just takes you back to that really good place, right?
Yes, exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's so funny because when people say, soul food, as a culture, we assume, fried chicken, greens,
Yeah.
macaroni and cheese, dressing, but honestly, soul food in your culture is your cultural
Your
food,
cultural food.
right. For the Vietnamese, their soul food, maybe their noodles, their rice, or it's their soul food, it's their cultural food.
Yep.
So soul food doesn't necessarily, to us, we know what it means because it's our culture,
Right.
but to others, it's their culture. So that means, whatever their culture is having.
And I love how
that's their soul.
Food in the United States specifically, because we are dealing with a whole like a cultural whatever. It's one thing that brings all of us together. It doesn't matter where it is. I've traveled to different towns and whatever. And like I say, it's a good food truck. You're finding all kinds of Americans there. Black, Spanish, white, whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, girl. Yes.
Through line, I think, humanity. And I've seen it like, I used to watch like Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, or this other guy like on Netflix.
Oh, he was amazing.
You know what I mean? Like I think the guy Phil, he's from Everybody Loves Raymond. So everybody feeds Phil. He goes like around the world. And he'll always just like brings everybody together.
Yes. And it's so important. And I'm heading out to Europe in about less than a month at this point. And all I could talk about was I want their dishes. I want their real culinary, authentic. I want to sit out there in Florence, outside of the cafe, and eat. Yes, thank you, and eat their food, eat their culture, take in their culture. And it's just food is life, and it's always been important. Obviously you need food to live. Some people live to eat, some people eat to live. I teeter between the two.
That's hard.
I teeter between
that part, that's cool. I actually was just telling my aunt the other day, like she's my international travel buddy. The first I've been was like Barcelona. So I'm like, I want to go to like Italy or something. And I'm like, look and see. So I think that you said that. You see, that's another sign of the universe. I gotta look into it.
All right. I love it.
There we go.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. We're flying into Barcelona, as a matter of fact.
Oh wow, so, look at that. You'll love it. It's really good. I love it.
Oh, I look forward to it.
It's a goal.
Yes.
Everybody who was born and lived in Spain. For sure.
Exactly.
All right, a bit more on. So a little birdie told me that you grew up with a dad that was like a pastor, and you shared something just about your mom just now. So you grew up with mainly just your dad, or you had still like a community of people around you? Well, how was that growing up with like a dad that's in like the pastor for like your dating life? I don't know.
Well, interesting question. So my dad is a pastor. He is now retired. He is now 84. So he has now retired. But I grew up in a home where all we knew was church. And I have to be honest with you, I don't regret that. There are a lot of people that says, oh, all we did was church this and church that and church that. We didn't do church this, church that, but we grew up in a home that was vetted and embedded in the church. And, we had a wonderful church with a wonderful bishop. And my father at the time of my birth was a minister.
Okay.
And so, we went to church on, Wednesday nights for Bible class, Friday night for deliverance service, Sunday morning for Sunday school, Sunday, afternoon for service. So we were in church a lot, but growing up that way, we enjoyed it because we had our friends there. We always had something fun going on. And our home was the happening house.
Right.
Our home, because it was myself. I was the only girl born into the union of my parents. And then I have 3 brothers.
Okay.
So it was So it was myself, our oldest brother, he was off into the army. And the next oldest brother, he was in the church, as well. But he was, he was that fun teenage brother at that time. And then my youngest brother, there's a 3-year difference between the two of us. So we grew up a little bit more closer in age, and we were always playing games. And like I said, our house after church on Friday nights, honey, our house would be packed with all the young people from the church, and pizza boxes, and all the fun. Yeah, so so it wasn't a life where you made
a whole idea. I'm a screenwriter too. I'm like, I can write a story about this. It's like you just
exactly. Oh, so true. Yes, so true. But we enjoyed it. We honestly, I don't think any of myself and my brothers would say, hey, I regret. We enjoyed it. And it's allowed us to have an extended family.
Right.
Even now today, we still keep in touch with a majority of those that we went to church with, those that we grew up with, and we all have a great relationship. And even their children, we look at it as like, hey, that's our niece and nephew, because of the extended family, and we were able to live it now. As far as me dating and whatnot, girl, let me tell you something. I had a curfew.
Well, I didn't know the brothers part, so I could just add that on top of it too. It's like, I'll be sneaking around every day, like I just don't want to deal.
But listen, I'm telling you, I had a curfew at 25 years old because Dad being a pastor, women shouldn't be out at all times of the night. Nothing is open at 2 o'clock in the morning but trouble.
Right.
And I'm like, well,
to get you into trouble.
Right. I want to see a little bit about this trouble. Let me look into this trouble thing a little bit more.
Right.
So my dad literally wanted me in the house by 1 a.m. And I was 25.
That's pretty good. I was not a daughter.
That's not too bad at all. And you know what?
My time too. I gotta be home, making my way home. They used to say, "Stop making your way home around that time."
Yeah, no, I know, right? Exactly. And yes, and literally he would, and I don't care how asleep he would be. If I come in the house, say I come in the house at 1:15, and I know Dad, they're knocked out sleep, right?
Right.
He would wake up the next day and say, "You were late coming home." I'm gonna say, how do you know this?
My soul know you coming in this house at 1 o'clock.
I heard you snoring. How do you know that I came home at 1:15 or 1?
I don't know how I know. That's that thing. I know you say you don't have kids yet. Neither do I. I have a husband though, but that's the thing, I guess, that people always tell us, like, you don't know what it is to be a parent. I'm like, I don't, because it's like, how did
That's true. That's true. But I do have to say, the thing about that is I understand why you don't want people coming into your home all times of night, because it's an unsettling feeling. When you go to bed, you want your home shut down.
Absolutely.
When you go to bed, for me, I'll check my home 2 and 3 times. We have 2 huskies, so I'll make sure they're good in their room. I check the stove. I'm checking the refrigerator before I go upstairs to bed, because I want my home settled, and I don't want, someone, I'm being jarred from my sleep because someone is now coming in at 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, and maybe they're on their phone and they're laughing, and it's just unsettling. So I understand. And then from the protection aspect, I understand, why my dad was like, okay, 1 a.m., come home. And it is Chicago.
It is Chicago. I said, my grandma, like, you live in New York City, it's not paradise. I'm like, all right.
And it is Chicago.
All right.
But that instilled in me when I got my own place and purchased my own home. I didn't stay out in the streets all day. I came home because I was tired at that point.
For sure. The child stuff that you get, whomever you give it to, sometimes it's not mom and dad or whatever the environment is, those good lessons stay with you.
Yes, ma'am.
I deal with younger students, and I'm like, listen, there's always someone in your childhood that you can look up to. You got to find them. Everything is all bad. Like, I'll attack the bad one and be like, well, this one told me. No, find someone the right things, and just that's what
absolutely. Absolutely. And
once had parents that weren't paying attention and weren't there, but I'm like,
absolutely,
listen to them, or you can do what you're supposed to do.
Yes, for sure. And you know what? That seed, once that seed has been planted, it means a lot. And that's why they say, in a child's life, when a child is born, start planting those seeds from birth.
Absolutely.
And I think that's so important to do that. And I don't have biological children of my own, but I'd probably be just a mess if I did. Just like my kids would probably be so spoiled, like, okay, mommy, enough, because I would probably be that helicopter mom.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you are a mom, so I heard a couple of dogs, right? So I don't have
Yes.
I don't have animals in that kind of way. I love animals, but I grew up, I don't know, that was like a West Indian thing. We never really they had animals in the outside, or they're like, we don't do animals.
Yeah.
So I'm always interested when people tell me that they're how animals, I will ask a question.
Yes.
So it's like,
Yes.
I know during COVID, like, you know,
Yes.
a lot of like the dog community and like everybody was affected, right? You're the first person I'm
Yeah.
introducing with this. Did having
Yeah.
a dog or having like non-human living things to take care of, did it help you in the COVID or anything like that? Did it, keep it going?
You know, yeah. You know what? So we actually, the mister had been hollering about getting a dog for over a year.
Mhm.
And I'm like, my short story, my brother, one of my brothers, he lives 5 minutes up the road. He had a Pekingese and a boxer,
Mhm.
BB and Tyson. And I was absolutely in love with those guys. So my brother, when he's a bachelor. So whenever he would, go to Vegas and kick it with the boys or,
Right.
go wherever, he knew that he could call me. I'd come stay at the home.
Like you say, he's a
And
bachelor, so and this is his life.
exactly. But
He got it.
yes. And you know what? His dogs were my dogs. I
Right.
loved them. I sleep with them. Well, they would sleep with me, basically. They come into bed in the middle of the night and I wake up and they're sprawled across, my stomach or whatever. But they were humans. Tyson literally would sit and talk to you and watch TV. And I fell in love with those dogs.
Right.
And unfortunately, a boxer's lifespan is not that long. Tyson did pass away from, I believe it was heart failure. And BB, he lived a really long time. BB lived probably, they had BB almost 20 years, almost seemingly. And he passed away from kidney failure. And I was so crushed and so heartbroken when they passed away. I promised I would never own a dog. I said, I'll never own a dog personally. And so the mister kept saying, we need to get a dog, we need to get a dog. And I said, no.
Yeah.
So after a year of hearing him just going on and on, I said, okay, fine. So I began to do research. And once I start diving into something, I'm in it, I stick with it. And, and then he's like, I don't want a lap dog. I'm like, oh my goodness. So we had to agree on the type of dog. And so I said, hey, how about a husky? They're beautiful dogs. They're,
big, right? Those are not small dogs.
I'm sorry?
They get big. They're not like small dogs.
Yeah, they get big. They get big.
Yeah.
Yes. So here we are today, 2 years later. I have Paris and Milan. And I said I didn't want to own dogs, but honey, let me tell you, I wouldn't trade my babies in for nothing in the world. I wouldn't trade them. They're my babies. They're absolutely beautiful. Milan is, they just made 2 years old a couple of weeks ago. Milan is like at 87 pounds. He's my boy. And wow. Paris is right behind him at about 72 pounds. So and they're just 2 years old, but they're absolutely beautiful. And so we got them, I guess, about a year or so after the pandemic started. But it was such a joy to have. And just leading up to them during the pandemic, I was researching them, and that kind of kept us busy.
Emotional support is real.
Emotional support is amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I looked at we lived in California, and me and my husband, we got married over there and stuff, Los Angeles.
Oh, beautiful.
For the pandemic, but like that was the next thing. I'm like, yo, I need a dog. I need something, because I'm like,
I
need something.
Yeah. What kind of dog do you have again?
And it's so many dogs out there, huh?
What kind of dog do you have again?
I don't have any.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, okay.
I said I'm not a person that grew up with dogs in my house like that because of like my culture.
Okay.
We have them outside in the kennels.
Understood.
I'm like, no dogs in the house. Kind of thing. And
Understood. Yes, I
In
understand.
California, I say building my own family. I say there was so many, and then I just did it again off charitable stuff. There was like a lot of rescues after all those fires and stuff. They didn't place. And then, so I was like, I might like adopt a dog or something like that. But
yeah.
Like,
oh, that's always good.
Myself up there sometimes to talk to people and ask them on interviews now, like, what's your dog like about? But that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm definitely all down for support.
Yeah, and they tell us, they say your house is the only house we come over and you can ask us, what would you like to eat? And we will literally say, I have what the dog is having, because we feed our dogs, we cook every day before our podcast. Yes, before our podcast, I cooked up a cube steak but you just basically boil it and chop it up. You don't put any seasonings in it, anything like that. So they have a cube steak and then they have their hard kibbles to eat, with the steak and the chicken. And so, so it's like, I'll have what the dog is having. You're having steak, I'll have steak. Yeah.
Very cool. The closest I have, I guess, my best friend has a dog. I was his godmother. I helped him buy it the day he was there. It was a couple things. So that's the closest thing I have. He was like, "Come and get your godson." I'm like, I'll take him.
Interesting. And my dog's godmom is in New York.
He can't stay here. He has to go back to his
Oh, nice. Well, my dog's godmom, she's in New York out there with you.
Oh, there you
go. Yep. They have their
godparents. Don't think it's a joke. Yep. It's a whole-on tribe.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, we're getting to the end of our interview here. I think it was really cool. Yeah. I wanted to for you to maybe share some of the lessons you learned with business, and you talked about, the success of your kitchens and stuff like that, and you just like taking time out. You also have just personal experience in working with bigger corporations. You don't own them, but you work there. So any advice you think you give to like women like myself, or maybe younger than me coming up?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? If various people can be your inspiration, you can look at a television commercial and see a flight attendant, for American Airlines running for her flight, and you say, wow, she looks so professional. She looks so successful. Maybe I want to look into being a flight attendant. Right. Whatever you think you want to be, do research, look into it, stick with it. If your heart is in it, that's all it takes. Your mind, your heart, follow your dreams and make them a reality. And once you get into, a corporate world, like I tell people, my main focus being in corporate, which has gotten me through, is always to remain above the bar, going above and beyond, remain above the bar, but under the radar. Because if management gets you on their radar, that's it. Maybe they're they're coming for me. Every time I turn around, I'm getting an email about this and about that, because you're on their radar. So staying above the bar and under the radar, it to me is the one of the greatest pieces of advice that I've given to various people, various individuals that has graced my company. And staying focused and staying on your grind and doing what you need to do to be successful. And you're going to have obstacles. You're going to have obstacles, and you're going to have situations that, may not be, you may not have expected, but it's all about, at the end of the day, you have you to take care of. You have your family to take care of. Stay focused. Stay focused. If something is not for you,
TED Talk right now. I love it. That was a very clear, precise advice. Like,
yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anything else that we want to plug here? Again, you guys tuned in. You can get 25% off Funny Lifestyle. We'll put that all in the caption. Using T-Show, so TEESHOW. I'm here with Beth Willis. We've been talking about all these beautiful things. It is Easter while we're recording this, so y'all know we out here working even on Easter.
Yes, exactly.
Family stuff. Hopefully Beth is as well. This is the only work thing I have to do for today. And I'm actually doing a show today, so I'm actually looking forward to just putting energy out there and being around people today.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed myself. It's been a pleasure to speak with you and a pleasure to meet you. You're beautiful. I love your spirit.
Connect in person, hopefully in New York or Chicago soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Hey, it's on the house. For you, it's on the house.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, love.